Okay, so let's get started on making the inside pages. So what we're going to start with is the leftmost cover. On the inside, we're just going to go ahead and create this super quick pocket. Okay, so what you need for that, actually, move that over there. You're going to want a piece of your solid color cardstock and cut that down 2 inches by 10 inches. Okay, and then you're going to put that in your scoreboard. Your on the 2-inch side, and what that means is 2 inches is in the top left corner, or sorry, top right corner. Score it 1/2 inch all the way down the whole length of the page. Then you're going to turn it and put the 10-inch side on the right and score it 1/2 inch, and turn it again and score it 1/2 inch. And you'll hear me say throughout this whole video, and I know you'll hear a lot of other designers say, score it 1/2 inch on 3 sides, and that's what that means. So you have 4 sides, but you're only going to score 3. Pretty simple, right? Excuse me. So then what we want to do is where your 2 score lines intersect, if you can see that, I hope. Come on now. Oh, this is just not quite, there we go. Where the 2 score lines intersect, we're going to just cut that little corner away, right? So we're going to cut it, looks something like that, miter the corner to kind of get rid of the bulk. Okay, and we're going to do the same here. Okay, and then we're just going to go ahead and fold along those score lines. Give it a good burnish with your bone folder. Same on the 2 short sides. Okay, and then it should look something like this. And then what you want to do is take your cover. You remember we just did our covers, our book, and this is my leftmost side. And I'm going to turn mine sideways to make it easier for me to work. But what we're going to do is take this pocket and add it right there on the edge. Okay? Excuse me. For some reason I'm getting a cold. So you can use your choice of adhesive, but what I'm going to use is tried and true art glitter glue. That rhymes. So I just like to take on that where those 2 little corners meet, I just like to put a little bit of art glitter glue just to help hold that down. Makes it easier, I think, to adhere the pocket. Okay, so then I'm just going to go ahead and add some glue. If you've used this glue, you know you don't need a lot. But I like to make sure that I have enough. But not too much because I don't want it to ooze everywhere. Okay, so again, here is our base of our book, and I am going to turn mine this way just to make it easier for me to line everything up. Right here you see is your fold line, or where your spine starts. So you want to be very, very close to it, but you don't want to go over it. You don't want anything interfering with your book opening and closing. That's the worst, after you work so hard on it and then it doesn't want to open and close properly. So just don't pass that edge. And there you go. Just give it a little bit of pressure to hold till the glue catches, and then you have a nice pocket. So again, that's where that's gonna, so you can see, there's your pocket right there. Cool. Right? First piece done. All right. And one other thing you might want to get handy is a baby wipe, just in case you have any glue that goes rogue. All right, so the next thing we're going to add are these 2 little flaps. Again, I'm going to work left to right. So we're going to add these 2 little flap pages. Okay? And what you need for that, again, all the cutting guide is in the description below, and it'll also be on my Facebook page, which is called My Scrap Desk. I'm trying to do more content over there, so if you want to head over there and just say hi and join the page or ask to join the page, that would be awesome. You'll just see a lot more of my projects. Even though I do put everything on Country Craft Creations, that's kind of my go-to place. So anyway, so for the flap, you're going to want 2 of each of these. You're going to want 2 pieces of a solid cardstock at 5 1/4 by 6 3/4. Okay, then you're going to want 2 that are at 4 1/4 and 6 by 6 1/4. Okay, and what we're going to do with that is we're going to create the first pocket flap. So you can put this into your scoreboard. Your 6 3/4 inches is in the top right. You're going to score it 1/2 inch. Turn it to the 5 1/4 inch side, score it 1/2 inch. Okay, and then turn it one more time and score again at 1/2 inch. So you're going to want to score on 3 sides with the rightmost side not having any score lines, because that's going to be your pocket. Okay, and then we're going to do just like we did on the last one. We are going to go ahead and we're going to cut or miter, the corners. Whichever word you like to use, whichever one you prefer. Okay, and then we're going to fold along the score lines and then crease it really, really well. Do the same on all 3 sides. Okay, so let's turn it over so that the short flap is on your right hand side. One more thing I want to mention is when you have a pocket like this, it's always really helpful to just go ahead and tab that corner. Miter that little piece off of that corner, because when you're sliding a tag in and out, it's going to be folded over. So you see it has that little slant on it right there on each side. The tag doesn't get hung up and wrinkle your paper. I didn't believe it either at first, but yeah, it's true. It really does happen. Okay, so then you can actually take either your score tape or your glue. Ooh. Today's just not my day, people. Oy. Okay, and you're only going to apply glue on the 2 long sides. So then what we're going to want to do is take a little, because this little tag is going to adhere to your book. So right to the left of the score line, you're going to want to put a small or a thin bead of glue. Okay, actually I'm going to just take some of that off. And then we're going to take our piece that is 4 1/4 by 6 1/4 and we'll line it up. We're creating the pocket. You want to make sure that you don't go beyond the score line over here, because again it won't close properly. And then just go ahead and stick that glue down. Give it a good burnish. And you just created your pocket. So you see down in there, there's your pocket, or your first pocket tab, flap, sorry. So let's set that one. So we created that one. I also created this one ahead of time so that you have 2, oops, where is it? There we go. So we have 2 identical tabs. All right, so we are going to go ahead and add that into our book. Let's pull that back in. And these are going to go, again, this is your book. You could do whatever you want, but if you would like to do the same that I'm doing, I am going to, there's no adhesive on it, so this is my leftmost spine, this area right here. You can either add them in like this, side by side, you know, one on top of the other, and you could actually do 4, but I'm only doing 2. So I am going to line that one up there, give it just a little bit Give it a little bit of a border up here. I know it's hard to see because the paper's white. And then, actually I might give it 1/4 of an inch at the top and the bottom. Like that. Line them up. Okay, so let's add the first one. Again, it's your book. You decide what you want to do. You can either use Scor tape, or you can use your art glitter glue, or if you like the 3M glue, whatever you like best. Everybody has their preference. I do think it's a matter of, personal preference, what kind of adhesive you like. And then, again, I'm going to try to keep it as straight as I can. Give myself about 1/4 of an inch. That might be a little bit more, but who's counting? Along the top, and just be careful you don't go beyond the edge of your spine. And then, like I said, have a paper towel or some sort of cloth in case you have any glue that seeps out. And there's your first flap. All right, and so we are going to do the exact same thing with the second flap. Add your adhesive. Sorry, I'm right at the microphone, so I'm sure I'm very, very loud. I have to stand up when I do this stuff. I am just not that gifted. I can't sit. Okay, so try to keep that as straight as you can. There you go. Nice and straight. See? Easy peasy. Right? Okay. So next, let's look and see what we have next. All right, so we just made these 2 flaps. Okay. Next, we're going to make this extended flap, or the flap page. This one is not a pocket as the other ones are, but we're going to add a pocket to it. So, all right, so what you need, where'd it go? I lost my pages, guys. Here it is. Okay, so you're going to want 1 piece of your cardstock that is 8.5 by 11, so it's 8.5 by 11, okay? We are going to put it into our scoreboard with the 11 inches on the right-hand side, and we're going to score it at, at 1/2 inch, and then at 6 inches, okay? And then I just mitered my 2 edges, because this is what's going to attach to the book, okay? Let me show you that. So here's those flaps. This is the left spine. These are those 2 flap pockets we just made, and this is the one we're making. So you can see this actually butts right up against that flap. The flap on this butts right up against the side of these 2 flap pockets. Okay. So we're going to take, sorry for the noise in my chair, where we scored it at 1/2 inch. We're going to go ahead and fold along that score line and then crease it really well. Okay, so that's going to be the flap that attaches to the book. So this is the 6 inch score line. We want to fold that to the left. Try to keep that as straight as you can, because that is your flap. Give that a good burnish. So, there you go. All right, so let's bring our book back in. Move those flaps off to the left, the ones we just added. Okay, we are going to, with your flap on the right-hand side, on your right-hand side, let's turn it over, and add some art glitter glue, or Scor tape is good. I wouldn't use anything like a tape runner here, because this is going to take a lot of abuse. And when I say abuse, I mean it's because the page is going to be constantly flipped and looked at, and so you want to use a nice strong adhesive. So here's our flap with the adhesive on the bottom. The page flap is on the right hand side. We're going to go ahead and add this to, try to line it up with the flaps you just made. So see what I mean? So that the bottoms of each one match. Okay, and grab your bone folder and just kind of guide it right into place. And you're not going to actually see this in the end, because what I like to do is, this is a 1/2 of an inch, that flap we just glued down. I like to take like 3/8 of an inch of pattern paper and put it in between there. So that will look really nice. And then go ahead and clean up your edges in case the glue seeped out. And that's done. Easy, right? Nothing so difficult so far. Okay, well, what we're going to do now is add some more fun stuff. I am going to put my top on my glue so it doesn't dry out. Alright, so what we're going to add next, we'll do the inside pocket next. So this pocket down here, we'll do that pocket, and then we will go ahead and make this belly band. Okay? Super quick. So let's see. I think that's that pocket, and that's the belly band. Okay, so you're going to want one piece of your cardstock. You want to cut that down to 4 inches by 5 3/4, right? And then you're going to score it at 1/2 inch on 3 sides. Then you're going to take your scissors and miter your corners where your 2 score lines intersect on that side and that side, just like we did previously. Okay, and go ahead and open up your flap on your page. Actually, I have to smooth that out of the way for a second. All right, as I mentioned before, what I like to do is put a little dab of glue right there on the bottom tab, and then just kind of fold that over and let that catch. It just makes it so much easier, in my opinion, to stick down the pocket. But I know I missed that one. Okay. Ugh. Wants to make a liar out of me. You could do this 1,000 times, but as soon as the camera's running, it doesn't want to work. Okay. So, now again, here is our flat page. I have the page open, and on the inside, we're going to just go ahead, center it right on that page, and line up the bottom, center it, and get it as straight as you possibly can. Oops. And just clean it up. And there's your automatic pocket. I actually have, you can put some tags in there. And then you can choose, if you'd like, before you stick the pocket down, to put pattern paper here. I don't find it necessary, but you can. It's your book, you do what you want. So I would just put the pattern paper right in through here, and stick it down in the pocket about 1/2 of an inch, and just to make sure that you have, see how we have this little border right here? You have that same border going all the way up to the top of the page, and it looks like you meant to do it. Okay, easy, easy. So we're going to go ahead and make the belly band, which, here it is. With the flap closed, right? So let's look at what we did so far. We have our book. We put the pocket and the inside cover. We made the 2 flat pockets. Let's close those to the left. So that leaves us with our flap page, right? And then we also did a pocket on the inside of the flap. On the outside of the flap, we're going to put a belly band. So, and that looks like, I'm sorry if I showed you this already, I'm kind of all over the place. This is the belly band. Right here, the tags slide underneath that, okay? And that belly band is 1 1/2 inches by 6 inches. You put it into your scoreboard, score it at 1/2 inch, and then you can also score it at 5 1/2, or you can just, after you score at 1/2 inch, turn it around and score it at 1/2 inch again. Okay? So go ahead and fold on those score lines and give it a good crease. All right, and then add some glue. I would not use, I don't know if I said this already, but when I do pockets, I do not like to use score tape, because score tape, if you're not paying perfect attention, score tape can, the tags can get caught if it's overhanging the tab, where you're connecting it to your paper. If there's a littlest bit of overhang, the tag will get stuck into it, and it's really embarrassing when people are looking at your book and the tag gets caught in the score tape. It's just embarrassing. Okay, so you want to kind of eyeball it, try to keep it even. If you want to measure it, you're more than welcome to. I am just not in the mood today to measure, so I'm just going to eyeball it and hope for the best. And then just stick it down. And I think belly bands are underrated, because I like to use them a lot, because I like to have a lot of tags in my projects, and this is the best way of keeping them all contained. And as you saw in my book, I will put some sort of a chipboard stopper down here to keep the tags from falling all the way through. But you can get quite a few tags. You can see there's quite a bit of space in there, behind there. So, yeah, that page is done. So we have, and this I just left plain, but you could put a pocket. The back of the flat page, I just left it plain. I decorated it with a couple of different pieces of, I pieced together a layout, but you could do anything. You could put another pocket on here. You could put some more flaps on here. It's your book. You can do whatever you want to do. Okay, so now we are going to concentrate on the centerpiece, the centermost portion of the book. Okay, and that is where I have, surprise, surprise, another pocket. So we just finished making this page. You can see this is what I was talking about when I said I kind of pieced together a little layout. Okay, we are going to do this pocket and then these two flaps with this closure. Okay, and we'll start with the pocket since it's on the bottom. All right, that pocket, the center pocket, is 4 1/2 inches by 8 inches, because again your book is 7 inches wide by 9 inches tall. So we're going to go 4 1/2 by 8. Oh dang, look at that. I didn't realize that. Oh. Should have erased that before I. Okay. It's going to get covered up with paper so nobody knows it's there, but I know it's there. Okay, so 4 1/2 inches by 8 inches. You're going to want to go ahead and score it at 1/2 inch on 3 sides. We've done that multiple times already. And then we're going to cut out the corners, miter the corners. Okay, and then let's go ahead and fold on those score lines. Okay. Didn't I just say I don't like to use score tape on my pockets? And what did I do? I used score tape on my pocket. So, anyway, I'll make it work. All right, so remove your backing or go ahead and add your adhesive. Ay, ay, ay. I don't even listen to myself. All right, let's fold that in. I should be okay on this because I left plenty enough space to the edge. It's hard to, I don't know if you can see it. I can see it. Where the Scor tape is like yellowy looking. There you go. And so I have enough room there, so I should be good. But I'm going to go ahead just in case and add some glue. This definitely does not have to be done if you're using Scor tape. Okay, let's pull this back in. Let's line it up. Try to keep it as straight as you can. Again, you don't want to go over the you don't want to go over your spine. You want to keep it straight. Okay. Put in your center pocket. And I like to, once it's down, come back again with my bone folder and give it a really good crease. Kind of helps it lay down, helps everything stick, and it just makes it nice and crisp. All right, let's see. There we go. See, it's not sticking, so woohoo! Okay, so that's our center pocket. Next, we want to make those two little flaps that are on the top. All right, and for those, you're going to want 2 pieces of cardstock. And I cut mine at 3 7/8 by 4 5/8 because I actually want them to, and I'm sorry, so let's cut those down, and then with the 3 7/8 inch side and the top right corner, score at 1/2 inch. Okay, and do that for both of your pieces. You want 2 of these. Okay. And then go ahead and fold along the score lines and go ahead and crease them. And what I want them to do is I want them to kind of almost meet in the middle. What I've decided to do is use an edge punch. I might not. I might just leave it like that. Of course, I'm going to line them up better than that. And yeah, so then I'll have those 2 little flaps. It's super cute. All right. So, I swear, everything just disappears. There is a gremlin that lives in my craft room. He's either stealing my ruler or my craft knife or I don't know what, but I need to catch that little gremlin. Okay. So I'm going to remove my adhesive backer and take my first little flap. I'm turning my book this way so that I can line it up as best I can. Again, you want to make sure you don't go past this line. You don't want to be into the crease there. Again, because you want your book to open and close smoothly. So just line it up with the very tippy top. I just left a little, maybe a 1/16 inch border there. So here's the first flap. I'm going to do the same. I'm actually going to turn this one this way. Remove the backing or go ahead and add your glue. Turn it again. I'm going to keep this one down so that I can match the edges up. And it's inevitable I get it crooked, but you know, I'm human. Let's see. Let me try this and then I'll tell you. Okay. Oopsie. Wait a minute. Something's not right. Oops. Ooh, thank goodness. Okay, there we go. It's better to line it up from the bottom. There we go. And give your Scor tape a good burnish. Give your tab a good burnish. And there you go. Okay, now you could do a decorative piece of trim, like I said. You could put use a corner punch or an edge punch There's so many choices. You can just go ahead and edge put or use like a corner chomper. You can round the corners, whatever you like. Just go for it. All right, so then what you also want, if you want to do the same buckle look that I did, which I'm not going to do now, I'm not going to attach it until I want to cover this with pattern paper first. But what you also have here is a piece of two pieces of cardstock that are a 1/2 inch wide by 2 inches long, and we scored them at a 1/2 inch on each side. Okay, these become like the little belt loops that you saw earlier. Okay, so you have the little belt loops, and then this piece of lightweight chipboard. You could use a couple layers of cardstock if you want. Even just one piece of cardstock, a nice heavyweight cardstock, will do the trick. It'll keep it closed. This is 1 inch, I believe. Actually, why don't I just measure it? It's 1 inch by 5 1/4. Okay, so you will stick down, you'll glue it down, your little belt loop, whatever you want it. If you want to center it, however you want to do it. Then you will just slide this in. You'll just slide it in like that, and that will hold everything closed. Okay, I know it's crooked now because I didn't line it up, but you get the idea. But I am not going to stick those down until I add the pattern paper. All right, so pretty easy, right? So, but what I'm going to do, so I don't lose these, is go ahead and put that paper clip back on. And I'm just going to slide that inside my pocket, and it will hold that shut. That's another thing you can do. If you decide to put tags in that pocket, you don't necessarily even have to create that closure. You can just put, come here. You can say this is a tag. You can just use some tags to hold that down. You don't have to use any kind of special kind of closure. I just like to have a different kind of closure all the time. It's just a thing with me. So yeah, so there. So we have obviously our book is done already. We have the 2 pocket flaps. We have our page flap, and then we have our center pocket and with the flaps on top. So now we're going to go ahead and work on our rightmost spine. All right, and that entails, that would be these 2 page flaps. Okay, so we have this one, and they're going to attach just like the pages we just added to the left spine. They are going to attach over here on the right. Okay, so let's see. So what you'll need for that, so we're going to make the 2 pocket pages first. You're going to want to get yourself 2 pieces of 6 3/4 by 9 inch cardstock. Right, you want 2 of those, and then you want 2 that are 6 inches by 8 inches. Okay, so we will just take 1 of those for now. Okay, in your scoreboard, with the 6 3/4 inches on the right hand top right corner, we're going to score. We're going to make a little gusset on this one. So we're going to do a 1/2 inch, score at a 1/2 inch. Then we're going to come over to 3/4 of an inch and score again. So you have 2 score lines, 1 at a 1/2 and 1 at a 3/4 on, this is the long side, right? So then we're going to flip it to this side, where your 9 inches is in the top right hand corner, and you're going to score at a 1/2 inch there, and turn it back around to the other side and score at a 1/2 inch again. Okay, so our pocket is going to come from the left hand side. Okay, so let's go ahead and fold on both of those score lines. It's going to seem a little different at first because they're so close together. Just take your time. Make sure it gives a nice crisp crease. Okay, and then just score on those two short sides. I'm sorry, fold on those two short sides. And again on this one. Right. And then you can either use your score tape or your liquid glue. Oops, actually, let's cut the corner out before I remove the adhesive backer. So you can see this is kind of a longer rectangle this time. So we're just going to go ahead and just a slight angle there and just a slight angle there. Okay, so it's a little bit bigger on one side. So let's do that again. Actually, I'm going to do it from this side. So it's easier for me to see. Slight angle. Slight angle. Okay. All right. So what's going to happen here is you want to turn this upside down. Okay. The tab that's going to attach to the book is on your right-hand side. So here's the top and the bottom of the page. Then you're going to take that 6 by 8 inch piece of cardstock and we're going to just close it up. Okay. So I'm going to do this one section at a time. So I'm going to take the adhesive backer off of the bottom, or go ahead and add your glue on the bottom. And going to want to be careful because this is where you have, this is the first score line, this is the second score line. So you can see you kind of have a, that's like a gusset there. So you don't want to go past that one score line. So line up your corner, which is so much easier to say than it is to do. Okay, just let that fall into place. Okay, so then take your glue and just put a really thin bead, because we're kind of closing up that pocket. We're going to put a really thin bead right along, without going over that the gusset score line. Okay, and I'm going to remove the backer over here. And let's just go ahead and close that up. Now I can already see I have some overhang in my pocket, which is fine. I can always chop it off. See, it's a little long here. I don't know if you can see that. See, it's a little long there, and it's a little long there. So I'm just going to take the longest pair of scissors that I own so that I can make one long, actually it's two long cuts, and just get rid of that little overhang. And if you don't tell, I'm not going to tell. So nobody knows. All right, so that's your first page. Let's make the second one. All right, let's go ahead and just tab those corners off. Hold that score line again. That's the gusset. And you'll see why the gusset's important in just a minute. Okay. All right. I'm going to remove my backer down here, just like I did on the first one. Actually, I hope I lined it up better this time. Must have miscut. Okay, so next is, let's do another bead of glue. must have cut these a little too long. Okay, that's not bad. Okay, so there we go. We have our two pockets. So you can see they'll kind of just go together. So let's put those in our book. And you'll see that they, as I mentioned earlier, they attach right into the, oops, sorry about that. They attach right onto the spine, right here. That's the bottom one. That's the top one. Okay. Oops. All right, let's bring our book back in. Okay, sorry. All right, so this is the front of our book. The short flap is on the right-hand side. The short cover, sorry, is on the right-hand side. So here is our right side spine. So actually, what do I want to do with this? Let me think for a minute. Okay. Okay. So you can either go ahead and remove your Scor tape, or you can add your adhesive. And what you want is this: if this is the top of your pocket page, you want your 1/4 inch gusset on the right hand side, and your tab, you want it to look like that before you stick it down. Okay, so you can try to eyeball it to make sure it's, you know, the same. If you want everything to line up exactly along the top, you know, with your, sorry, with this page, I really don't care if it doesn't, because it's all supposed to be, you know, it's handmade. So I just try to keep it straight. Just again, I don't want to go into the ditch, so I don't want to go over the edge. And I'm just going to eyeball this and try to keep it as straight as I can, you know, on the top and the bottom. We'll see. Okay, looks kind of straight to me. Okay, so there is our first one. And if that gives you an idea, so you can see there is your, that gusset. And then let's take the other one and do the exact same thing. And it's going to go on top of that. Again, you want it to go this way. Okay, so I'm going to give it a little bit of space. I'm going to try to line it up. Again, without going in the ditch on this side. Okay. So try to keep maybe a 1/2 inch. Oh, I'm almost in the ditch. Okay, let's see if that worked. Okay, it's a little bit crooked, but that's okay. Oh, no, it's good. So you can see from the top. All right, and that little bit of a gusset helps keep from squishing the pages. So you see how, like right here, sorry, right here and right here. So now that whenever this starts to close, so if you fold that flap down, right, and then you fold that and you fold that over, because you have that little gusset, nothing's getting squished in there. See what I mean? So everything fits in there, everything plays really nicely. Okay, but we're not done yet. All right, so now we are going to do, oh, see, I can see how crooked that one is. I'm going to see if I can pull this off. Don't do this at home. Amazing, isn't it? I use Scor tape. This tool This is the spatula that came with my Cricut machine that I've had for ages. I have never used it in the Cricut machine. I always use it to perform emergency surgeries just like that. But you can see, that's why this cardstock is so awesome. There is no damage on that spine where I just pulled that off of. Any other cardstock, that would have just torn it right up. So actually I'm going to add a little glue just now because now I worry that I might have lost some stickiness in the Scor tape. But let's see. And of course I left my cap off my glue, so now I can't get it to come out. Oh. There we go. Just in case. All right, I'm going to try that again. Okay. There, I like that better. Okay. All right. All right. So next, actually we need to do the inside on this side. We are going to do that little vertical. Where is it? So the top flap, the bottom flap has this little vertical waterfall here, okay? So the way we do that, and you're gonna think I'm crazy, and I learned this somewhere along the way, we're just gonna do like a little mini baby waterfall, okay? So we're gonna take what did I do? 6? Let me count these real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 pieces of the cardstock that are a 1/2 inch wide or 1/2 inch tall by 4 inches wide. Okay, now this, I put them in my scoreboard and scored it at 1/4 inch. It looks like it could be difficult, but it's not. I mean, it's very easy to do. Just take your time. And then what I did was, at the bottom here, you just take these and then you just fold them in half. And you're going to add, oh, come on now. You're just going to glue that there, and then you can just add, since we have so many gorgeous cut-aparts in all the paper collections, we're going to add this on, and then we're going to glue these in, and then you can add a 3x4 cut-apart on here, and you can have a really cute waterfall. Or you can just go ahead, after you put this on, you can do the 3x4 pieces of cardstock and make your own little waterfall, if that makes sense. So let's just go ahead and add these. So the first one, I scored it at 1/4 inch. I'm just going to take some glue, put some glue on there, and right, if you recall, so this is the bottom flap, the ones we just created. There's the top, there's the bottom. This is on the inside of the bottom flap. You want to be careful because you have the flap that attaches to the book, then you have that 1/4 inch gusset, and then the page actually starts. So you want to make sure you don't glue this to the 1/4 inch gusset. Just make sure you glue it close to the fold, to the edge, sorry, of the page, but don't go over it. And I find it's easier if you fold it in half and just stick it down. So then what will happen is, if this were a piece of 3x4 cardstock, you would just glue not the cardstock, or a piece of cardstock, or a cut apart, and you can just glue it right to that little flap, and then you'll have the cute little waterfall, if that makes sense. Maybe it'll be clearer when I add a couple more. Okay, so let's take that again. Again, I scored these at 1/4 inch right down the middle. Okay. Put on some glue. Let's see. Add some glue. Then we're just going to butt this 1/4 inch up to this 1/4 inch. Try to get that as straight as you can without going over the edge of the page. So what you end up with, whoops, you should probably stick it down before you go to lift it off. What you end up with is a 1/2 inch in between each little fold. And then that's where you can put a little cute little piece of pattern paper or a piece of solid cardstock or something to jazz it up a little bit. Okay, so you're getting the idea? Okay, let's keep going. So let's fold all of these real quick and score them. Fold and crease. If you want to do this with a full inch, and then score it at a 1/2 inch, that's fine. You know, you don't have to use just this small piece like I am, but it just worked out well because I had those cute little cut aparts. So okay, whoops. All right, so let's just line that one up. Wait, did I do that one? So then this one lines up right next to the fold of the other one. No, it doesn't. Sorry, did it backwards. Okay. So now you have 3. Sorry if you guys hear Michael on the conference call down there. Oh. Okay. All right. Let's give that a good little burnish there. And then move them. Whoops. Move all down that way. Give them a little burnish, kind of just training them to be little flaps. All right, I hope you're all still with me. And I would love to hear what you all think. Like, what is your favorite part of a mini album to make? Is your favorite part the decorating? Or creating the book like I'm creating right now? Or is it the decorating, or is it just all of it? I like all of it. But that's just me. I have a great time doing all this. So yeah, leave me a comment below. Y'all are so nice with all your sweet comments. Really appreciate them. Okay, so those are your little hinges or your little flaps that are going to attach either your cardstock or your little 3x4 cut apart cards or journaling cards or photos, you know, however you want to do it. So there's that. So then once you have, you know, whatever you're going to attach, whether it's going to be your photos, you're going to want to do a closure. And I just did just like a regular waterfall closure. I cut a piece that's 1 inch by 4.5 inches, and then I scored it at a 1/2 inch. Okay, and then once I'm finished, you know, once I determine how far my waterfall is going to come down, I will add this on and use a magnet to hold it closed, just like I did over here on the book. So see, this is what we just made. So you can see this is one of the, because I had the goof up, I had to cover it with pattern paper here, but you can see this is the 3x4 cut apart, or a piece of it. This is the actual journaling card, and this was the back of it. Here is that little 1/4 inch that we just made. So there's a 1/4 inch there, and then it goes over on this side. So you can see how it'll all come together, make a little waterfall, and then again, once I figure out how far it's going to come, I will add the closure. So that closure is this. So you see? It's fun, super fun. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is create this waterfall. We are going to create the actual pages though, with this little pocket. Okay, and we're going to do the magnetic closure. All right, so that is going to go over here on the short side of the cover. All right, and what we need for that, oh, there. All right, so the way I like to make a waterfall, and if you've watched any of my videos, I'm sure you know what I'm going to say, is I learned this from Tammy Merrill, who is the owner of Country Craft Creations, and I think it's the most ingenious thing ever. I had a lot of problems when I tried to make a waterfall. They would all end up wonky, like all, instead of coming in a nice straight line with the pages and a nice waterfall, they would all be wonky. And then she came up with the idea, make a waterfall base. And then attach your waterfall pages to the base and then put the base in the book, which that was like a duh moment, right? So what I did for my base, I just took a piece of my white cardstock and I cut it down to 4 1/4 by 5 1/4. Okay, so that's my base. And then I decided I'm going to do a portrait waterfall, and I'm going to do 4 pages in my waterfall. So I have 4 1/4 by 6 3/4. I have 4 of those. Again, you could do as many as you can fit on this. I keep forgetting you can't see the book. You can do as many as you can fit on this side. I decided to only do 4. So you're going to put it into your scoreboard with the 6 3/4 inch side on the top right and score to 1/2 inch. And you're going to do that for all 4 or 6 or however many flaps you decide you want. Okay, so then you go ahead and then you fold and crease. Okay, let's just do that to all 4. And one more. Give it a good crease. And again, it's up to you. Sorry, whether you want to do score tape or glue. So then what I like to do, another ingenious thing, another thing that helps me keep it super straight, is to line up the base in my scoreboard, you know, on the grid on the scoreboard. This just happens to be at 9 inches where I know you can see it. So I take my first waterfall flap, remove the score tape or go ahead and add the adhesive, and then we're going to line up the folded edge of the flap with the top of the base. Okay? So, well, actually my top, let me turn that around because you can see that that's, there we go. Now it's upside down, which it doesn't really matter. It's going to get covered up anyway. So I'm going to go ahead as best I can and line up the edge of my waterfall paper with the top of my base. And by using this little edge right here, it helps me keep that straight. Right? Genius or what? I just think it was just so smart. The first time I saw that, I was like, duh. All right, so let's keep going. again, we're going to fold under that flap with the adhesive on it, line that up, and then, oops, see, it almost wanted to go crooked there, but I caught it. And then give it a good crease so you can see that your page will line up with the page in front of it. See? No problems. Okay, so again, let's just keep going. Again, line up this edge with the bottom of the flap before it. And last but not least, again, make sure everything's straight. Okay, there we go. And if you do find that you're off a little bit, it's not really that big of a deal. You can just trim off anything, any overhang over here or over here. So this is what I have left on the base. So I'm going to go ahead and add I don't know where my 3/8 Scor tape went. So I'm going to go ahead and just add some Scor tape to the back of the waterfall base. You're going to want a nice, strong adhesive because, again, this is going to actually take a little bit of abuse with people flipping through the waterfall. Okay, just do 2 more. Make sure I have one really close to the edge. Okay. Then give it a good stick. Oops. Okay. All right. So then bring our book in. So now you can decide whether you want your waterfall up here. Do you want it centered? Do you want it to the left? Do you want it to the right? Again, it's whatever you like. Let me make sure I have my book straight up. Okay. I'm going to turn mine upside down only so that I can keep track of where I'm putting it. Okay, let me make sure because it'll be embarrassing if I do it upside down. I am going to center mine, try to line it up, oh for heaven's sake, try to line it up as close as I can to the top of the page. Actually maybe just center it and then try to leave a little tiny border. Okay, let's turn that back around. Right, so then what I like to do, take my bone folder and then just make sure I get a good stick in between each one. And then make sure that the unused portion of the base is stuffed down well, and that's going to get covered with pattern paper. So you could probably put 2 more, if you wanted. You could probably put 2 more waterfall pages, because you still have plenty of clearance down here. But what I'm going to do is put in a pocket. So I'm going to do a 4 1/4 by 5 1/4 inch piece of cardstock. I scored it at a 1/2 inch on 3 sides. Okay, then I'm going to take my glue and let that form the little pocket there. I hope this is the right pocket. Yep. All right. And put some glue on the edges. Okay. So what I'm going to do is line mine up with the bottom of my page. So I want to keep it centered. Okay, there we go. So that everything comes together really nicely. That'll fold down so you'll see the little bit of the pocket. And then I'm going to use a traditional magnet closure. So I think I already went through this. I did 1.5 inches by 4.5 inches. Again, you can make this as wide or as skinny as you want, but I find for a 4.25 inch waterfall, the 1.5 inch is nice and strong and it holds it down. It's able to hold down the paper. So, but I'm also going to grab a magnet. Uh-oh. Where are my magnets? I know I have some. Excuse me 1 second. Uh-oh. Ruh-roh. I was going to say, I knew I just got a delivery from Tammy. Okay. Sorry for the noise. I know that's annoying. I'm going to grab best magnets ever. If you're curious. Okay. Let's get these out of here. They're fantastic magnets, but I hate the packaging. Okay. All right, so that one's a plus, so let's grab a minus. Okay. Sorry for that little delay, guys. All right, so so let's go ahead and remove the backing off of our little waterfall closure. And I am going to try to center this as best I can. Hold this down. So I'm going to center this at the bottom. Glue it down. Now that's going to get, this right here is going to get covered with pattern paper. So I'm not concerned about that. Alright, so then what I need to do, oh no, they went together the wrong way. Oh, stickers. These are some strong magnets. Okay, so you're going to put them together so you have, and it really doesn't matter, the plus on one side, the minus on the other side. Okay, I'm going to remove the little adhesive piece. And I'm going to put that, I don't want to put it too close to the edge anywhere, you know, because when I put the pattern paper on the inside, I want it to cover this. I don't want it to, excuse me, stick up anywhere. So then I'm going to remove the backing there. So you see the magnets, oh, no, you don't see it. The magnets attached there. So then I just take this, and hopefully it's straight. Secure it down, and then when you open it, that magnet will stay there, and that magnet stayed there. And these magnets are so strong they will go through a couple layers of pattern paper. But one thing I don't like about them is sometimes the adhesive, the pre-adhesive that they put on it, can let loose. I mean, but it takes, you know, over years. So I always put a piece of Scor tape on it. It just makes me feel better. So I'm going to go ahead and put another piece here, and then it'll get covered up with pattern paper. You'll never know it's there. So that we are an hour and 10 minutes, almost an hour and 11 minutes, and you made a book. It's done. Look at that. The construction of the book. And it's, you can see there, you can see down here, oops, down here are those little things for the vertical waterfall. So that is how you make the I Left My Heart in So Many Places travel folio. Oh, one thing that I did not show you is I just took my crocodile. I have the one, this big one. If you have this, this is great because it reaches 6 inches in from the side of a page. I just went in between 2 pages and punched a hole, fed some of the seam binding through, and then I attached with a piece of baker's twine this cute little charm thing, this Tim Holtz charm thing. I don't know what it's called because I threw the package away. And then I had these little dangle charm things. And I added some of the pattern paper to it. And they became little charms for the side of the book. So I love it. I actually have a keychain from each one of the foreign countries we visited, so I'll have to decide which one I want to add on to here. So yeah, so next time you see this one, it will have photographs in it. I'm not sure exactly when, but yeah, I'm so excited with this one. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you take a chance and make the album. It's, as you saw, it's super easy. There's no real advanced techniques. So, and as always, please, if you have any questions, if you need any assistance, I'm always here to help. I try to be very responsive on Messenger and on Facebook. You can always leave me a message here on YouTube, and I will get back to you one way or another. And have a great rest of your weekend. And if you do make this, please tag me on social media, or feel free to email me some pics, or you can even on my Facebook page, which is my scrap desk. You can even upload some of the photos over there so that everybody could see them. All right, so thank you so much. Take care, and I will be back again. I will share with you. I'm not going to make the one we just made. I'm not going to make it a travel book. I'm going to make it something else, which is why I use white cardstock. So, yeah, take care, and I will see you all soon. Bye.